This is the Savvy Investor radio show and podcast. For help with your retirement, schedule a 15-minute phone conversation with the team at ProStatus Financial Advisors today. Just call 866-597-1040 and at thesavvyinvestorradio.com.
Welcome back to the Savvy Investor radio show and podcast with the team at ProStatus Financial. Ryan Herbert is here. Lawrence Kiely is here as we go through some of the issues we talk about for retirement when it comes to your worries and concerns about retirement. And I know that the market is at the top of the list for most everybody. And the people at Kiplinger did kind of an interesting study here. They took two brothers, and they have a lot in common other than their age. Okay, so they have two brothers. We're going to call them Sam and Dave. And Sam and Dave both have $500,000 saved for retirement, and they both took out the same amount of money every single month. The difference between these two guys is Sam retired in the year 2000 and Dave retired in the year 2010. So after going through two major market downturns, Sam's money went from $500,000 down to $94,000. But Dave didn't go through any of that. He started in 2010 on a market that kept going up, and he has $874,000. So two guys pretty much the same, but completely different results. Something that they didn't have any, control over at all. And that was what the market was doing. So Ryan, talk to me a little bit about this. Was one guy just unlucky? Sam was just unlucky. He retired into a bad market, or was he unprepared? Was there something that you could have helped him do? I mean, this is one of those things that's completely out of our control.
You could view it as both, really. You could view it as, he's unlucky because he retired in 2000, and then 2000 was a terrible year. 2001 was a bad year. 2002, 2003. Those were three bad years right in a row. Mm-hmm. And then the 07, 08 crash happened. That's just terrible luck. You could say it's terrible luck. You could also call it poor planning, because what he had done is he said that, I'm going to have my money in the market, and as long as I get X percent, I can take my $30,000 a year out. And then conversely, his brother Dave, he retired at the right time. He had luck on his side where the stock market was just going up and up and up and up for, a number of years for the next 10 years. So it really is, there's a shade of luck to it. If you're going to go the stock market route, luck is absolutely a part of it. This is one of those things, and I have a slide on this that I talk about when we do our workshops and our seminars. It shows the exact same thing. If you had $1 million and you retired on January 1 of 2000, after 4 years in retirement, your $1 million is now $574,000 if you're taking out 5%. That's kind of what Sam was experiencing. Mm-hmm. After 10 years, his $500,000 is drained all the way down to $96,000. That's going back to work. But then if you just flip the returns the opposite way, you don't run out of money, you have more money. It's called sequence of returns. It's you're really relying on the stock market for your retirement. And what 10-year, what 15-year, what 20-year period are you going to experience the first 10, 15, 20 years of retirement? Are you going to experience 2000 to 2010, or are you going to experience 10 to 20 or 10 to 10 to 2000? Which way are those returns going to go? So if you're going to be reliant on the stock market, or if your financial advisor's strategy is, let's have our money in the market, let's earn 8 to 10% a year, and we can take out 4% per year, you absolutely have to have luck, because you have one bad year, you're probably okay, but you have 2, 3 bad years in a row, that's running out of money. And what Lawrence and myself and our team here at ProStatus do differently is, yes, if you want to have the stock market option because you want to see 20, 30% returns when the stock market's absolutely zooming, that's one way to go about doing it. But let's sit down, let's show you the alternatives. Let's show you, here's what happens if you take the steps to secure the income, to make sure that no matter what happens in the stock market, I have the income I need. In Sam and Dave's case, let's take the steps to make sure that we have $30,000 a year coming out of our portfolio every single year, no matter what happens, no matter if the stock market's down 28%, no matter if the stock market's up 15%, or if it's up 5 or down 12, whatever the numbers are, I want to make sure that no matter what happens out there in the stock market, I have the income I need. And that is the true benefit of working with financial advisors that understand the ups and downs of the stock market, that understands spending is not in a straight line. We think about the tax aspect of it because that $30,000 as you take it out gets taxed differently. It really is about having a plan in place to make sure that you are not going to run out of money in retirement. It is the number one fear for every investor out there is that I'm going to run out of money in retirement. I'm going to have to go back to work. I'm going to have to sell my house. I'm going to have to do a reverse mortgage, whatever it happens to be. Those aren't the things you should be worried about in retirement. You should be worried about, where am I going on vacation next? Where are we going out to dinner tonight? What golf club am I playing at? Where are we going on our RV trip? Those are the things you should be worried about. You should not be worried about, am I going to be broke by the time I'm age 85 or 90 or 95 or whatever that point is. But all of that starts by sitting down and putting a plan together. You know, if you aren't getting this from your current advisor, if this is what you're looking for in a financial plan, is the safety and security of knowing that I'm not going to outlive my money, give us a call at 866-597-1040. That's 866-597-1040. Or just click the link in the description below. Sit down with Lawrence, myself, Faisal, Andrew, any one of our team members here at ProStatus to help show you what comprehensive retirement plans look like. And if you don't want to pick up the phone, you want to do everything online like I do, go to our website, thesavvyinvestorradio.com. That's thesavvyinvestorradio.com. Right at the top of the page, there's a button that says schedule my call without ever having to pick up the phone. That's thesavvyinvestorradio.com. Or just click the link in the description below.
Lawrence, when I think about this, we all lived through 2008. I saw my money get cut in half. I remember that. And that was terrible. But, you know, in your 20s, in your 30s, in your 40s, you got time to recover from that. But if it happens in your 60s, in your 70s, in your 80s, then you don't. And is this a matter, and you guys have not said this, but is this a matter of you going into retirement and say, I had a 80-20 portfolio. Now I want a 50-50 portfolio, 50% stocks, 50% cash or bonds or someplace in the conservative safety area. Is it a matter as simply as that, as just trying to figure out how much you want in the market and how much you don't want in the market? Is that the conversation?
No, I don't think it's as simple as that. I mean, it's more so having a conversation and truly preparing for retirement and what retirement looks like for you and your family. What are your goals in retirement? What is the spending you want to be able to have in retirement? And that's you know, what we want to do here at ProStatus is we have these initial conversations where we really deep dive into what are the goals that you have in retirement. What does it cost you right now to live the lifestyle you're living? And the goal is normally to maintain that lifestyle. So what does that cost you on an annual basis after taxes or on a monthly basis after taxes? How much money do you need to live on, right? We dive into that. What do you want to spend on in vacations? What are your legacy goals for you and your family or your kids? What other big expenses are there in retirement for you? Paying for a wedding? Do you want to help with the down payment on a kid's house? We really deep dive into those specifics to get to know you and your goals, what you're looking forward to doing in retirement, because then we want to kind of create this plan around that, right? And that starts off with, again, setting up those different buckets, right? What's the allocation bucket for the portfolio and the growth? What's the income bucket? What's the bucket for estate planning and long-term care? And we want to have those conversations. So we want to get to know you on a true basis and what retirement looks like. So once we get all that information from you, then we can kind of create this plan for you, and we can create a tax plan. We can create a legacy plan. But the basis of that plan is really the income bucket. That's the starting point, because if we know the income that we need to generate for you, or the income that you need in retirement to maintain your lifestyle, we can create that bucket for you. So we know that on an annual and a consistent basis, you're getting that 30 or 40 or 50 grand a year for the rest of your life, regardless of what the market's doing. And then then we can take that next step and adjust the portfolio. And as you mentioned, we can be aggressive and go 80-20, or we can be more conservative and be in a 50-50 portfolio. And we can adjust that over time as we get older in retirement and want to become more conservative, or flip it and sometimes be more aggressive. But because we have that income bucket set up to where we're not worried about what the market is doing as much, because we know that we're going to be able to maintain our lifestyle and do the things we want to do, we can we can have that conversation on aggressive or conservative, but we know regardless of that, we have the income we want coming in during retirement.
I remember so well 2008, and they had programs on PBS and on 60 Minutes, and they interviewed all these people that lost half their retirement savings and had to go back to work. And you felt so bad for them. But is that person unlucky, or is that person unprepared? And I mean, ask yourself that question. If it were to happen in the next month and the market were to get cut in half, are you just unlucky, or are you unprepared? And we want you to be prepared for retirement. Why not come in and sit down with the team at ProStatus Financial and build that protection into your portfolio? Build the income that you need and the protection against these market declines that are inevitably going to happen. But if it does happen, is it really going to hurt your retirement lifestyle? Let's find out. Let's build a plan for it. Here's our number and the website, 866-597-1040. 866-597-1040, or use the website, thesavvyinvestorradio.com. There you're going to see a button that says schedule a call. And that's basically what it is. It's a 15-minute conversation to get out on the table what you're concerned about when it comes to your retirement, and let's get you some answers along the way. 866-597-1040 or thesavvyinvestorradio.com. That is all the time we have on the Savvy Investor Radio Show and podcast. Lawrence, I'll give you the last word on this one.
This is Lawrence Kiely, and thank you for listening to the Savvy Investor Radio Show and podcast.
And this is Ryan Herbert. We'll see you, the Savvy Investor, next week.
Advisory services offered through ProStatus Financial Advisors Group, a registered investment advisor. Insurance licensed in Maryland. ProStatus Financial Advisors Group, LLC is not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if ProStatus Financial Advisors Group is licensed in your state, please call 410-863-1040. ProStatus Group, LLC is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through representatives of ProStatus Financial Advisors Group.